Hi, John Marshall, the DrillMaster. This is a good flagfold video. Doesn't go through some of the minute information that you really need, but this isn't too bad at all. This is the Army band at West Point, the West Point band. So they're doing a fine job. I've skipped ahead to the explanation because I want everyone to hear that, and it's a relatively long video, so I don't want to take up your time here. So she introduced everybody. Sergeant First Class. We've got a couple of staff sergeants here. The first part of the video, yeah, you can see there's sections here. So the first part of the video here was these two unfolding and then refolding. Now there's there's information that pops up that says you should completely unfold. Why they didn't completely unfold for that, I don't know. Well, I thought that was kind of strange. But anyway, we're going to join them in progress, more or less. So they're she's so she's talking about the wrist flip, or the wrist flick, I should say. So the flick is the whoever's at the header, where the canton is. Canton is the blue field. Is the commander of the flag fold. So that wrist flick is done by the commander, but it's in the left hand so that it's farthest away from the recipient, the next of kin, usually. So you want even eye wink. If you're going to do an eye wink, so the wrist flick, you can do an eye wink, 1, 2, and then pop, 1, 2, and then you go through your sequence. So I'm usually at the fly end, so I'm going to drop my left and come this way, but it's going to be the other way for the commander. So the gutter here, it's not necessarily an inch to an inch and a half, but you have the top row of stars. This is where you're going to bring the bottom edge of the flag. So they have a problem here, though, and I'll let this play.
Right here on the flag. Your wrist flick, and you're going to go flat again.
So don't have to do a wrist flick for every single thing that you do.
And now the next fold, go ahead. It's going to come straight up. You're coming straight up to.
So she's talking about, coming the same place. You brought the bottom edge up to the top row of stars, that horizontal piece there in the top row, and then also you're splitting the top red line. She's talking about both of those folds come up. You can have both folds come up to that, or you can have the second fold come all the way to the top. I wouldn't recommend it. You just want to eliminate the red completely from ever showing its face at all, and including the white. But let's
do the first fold that you made, not all the way up to the top, but to this fold.
So she's lifting the top.
So if this should be more like this.
It should be more like this all the way across. But she's going to say that, but because of the flag material, etc. No, actually, that's not it. That's not it at all. It should be like that all the way across. But let me unfold this really quickly. Okay, so when you're folding a flag, this is the header end. The header end is going to meet. All right? It's the last part of the flag that gets tucked. So the header end, this is going to be, this is why. So it wasn't all that deep of a gutter, as they call it, whoever folded this last. So, but the end here, as it's held up, the end is going to meet. The other end, the fly end, is not going to meet. But the staff sergeant here at the fly end,
a little bit because of the way the flag is.
There. But this staff sergeant here has these ends meet, so there's a big dip in the flag material, and that shouldn't be. When you're holding the flag material at the fly end, I'm going to use the header end here. When you're holding the material there, you're holding the top, you're holding the bottom, and you're holding the fold. All right, both ends are holding that, but all of these meet just like this. There, all of these meet. They're supposed to come together and completely be flush. The other end is going to look something like this. They're not going to meet. They're going to be overlapped, whatever it is. Some flags overlap quite a bit, some not so much. So maybe one or two of the edges will be flush, but because he's doing that, because he's making everything meet at the fly end, that's why they have such a big dip there.
To go flat again. The guy that is not on the star end is the folder. He folds the flag. That's his job.
So knowing the nomenclature of the flag is going to help communicate your information much better. So this is the fly end. This is the header end. So the folder, not necessarily the guy at the end. This is the folder who's now going to start the triangle folds.
Staff Sergeant McKinney's job is to hold the flag as taut as possible through the whole process, right about waist level of the folder. The first fold is the hardest fold of this whole process.
That's true.
So here's how it goes. You're going to take your right wrist and you're going to kind of flip it back a little bit and just tip it to show them. And the first fold, you're going to fold it right up to this crease, the original crease that we made, not the top of the
That's
flag,
exactly what I teach.
that we made like 1.5 inches below.
That's it. Good.
He takes his left hand.
Now, don't do that, because but let's watch.
He always grabs the flag on either side with the fingers.
Yeah,
on
not
top
thumbs
of
on
the
top,
flag,
fingers on top.
Now this next part is really the trickiest part. He basically has to flip his wrist from here to here and grab the flag in one move.
Okay, that's not why it's hard. All right, you shouldn't do that. And then you have the flag flopping down, and so that's not the hardest part. The hardest part is to keep the flag from pulling over to one side. Just hold the flag in the middle. After you make your first fold, don't reach down to here, reach here, and then you take your hand, come underneath, support the flag, bring your hand down, and then fold. It's an easy solution. Stop throwing the flag in the air and trying to throw that hand down and then get the next fold.
Now,
It looks
the
terrible.
only time you step forward is when you're folding the flag forward. So this next move, Staff Sergeant McKinney will step forward as he's folding the flag forward. Good.
Okay, and also don't do that. After you fold, don't go. Don't shake the flag. It's not a bed sheet that you're trying to get all smooth and get all the wrinkles out so your wife won't yell at you. Not that Mrs. DrillMaster does that
The flag really
at all.
isn't looking pretty at this point. So don't worry about.
That's true. It's not looking pretty, and it's not supposed to. And she's right. You don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. But throwing the flag up and trying to
And don't feel like, oh, this isn't working out very well. It's not going to look very good until you get about this far in the flag. So he grabs over the top once again, folds it to the side.
But these folds are small,
That's it.
so and you probably can't tell exactly. But as he's folding, he's not coming over to the edge, so he's making smaller folds as he goes. And I can't. It's just me and my desk and the flag here. So this fold right here that he just accomplished, this only goes over so far. This corner right here is quite, if this is the edge, the corner is in instead of all the way over, and it really needs to be all the way over in the triangle fold.
That's it. Steps forward. And basically you just do this and you keep folding the flag back and forth.
There, that's what he should have done earlier. Holding it in the middle.
And basically, you just do this and you keep folding.
I'll show you. Right here.
Back and forth.
There. Hold it with, that's exactly what he should have done for the first time. And what he started to do later. So don't throw the flag in the air and hope that you catch it, and then, you know, it looks bad. It looks really bad. Hold it just like that, and you eliminate everything. Now notice he brought the left hand down, hands straight across from each other, folded, nice hinge there, really well done.
This right here is what we call the landing zone. And this is a critical fold in the process. When you fold this fold, you want it to land as close to the landing zone as possible.
Okay, you want it to land in the blue, all right? Army, you don't know, you guys don't know about landing zones. Air Force, we know about landing zones. All right, so just playing. The tip needs to be in the blue, and so when, now let's back up to what he was doing as he was folding. Let me tell you what, I'll unfold this so it'll be a better demonstration. Okay, so as he was folding, what he did was he came over like this and then folded, and he folded again, and so he was making smaller folds, which takes up less of the material, which gives you this right here, that you have the same amount of folds but less material taken up with each of the folds, so then you get the point falling short of the blue, and that's not what you want at all.
This is pretty good. It's a little short. Because it's a little short, Staff Sergeant Venditti can kind of...
So what she's explaining here is that as you fold, pretend that my hands are reversed, that my thumbs are out, my fingers are in. What you can do is push the material forward so that the tip then lands in the blue field.
Fudge with it a little bit to get it as close to that mark as possible.
So
landing zone...
The difficulty with that, though, is keeping the extra material back here from pulling back and resting. So you've got the flag pulled forward, and you have a maybe an inch or so of excess material here, and it's really easy for the flag to just come right back and fall into place. That's the difficulty with that.
Goes up to here. If you fold the flag and this lands like that, it's way too far, and there's going to be red showing when you get to the end.
Not really.
So, we're doing pretty well there at that.
There. So, is there going to be way too much red showing? No, there isn't going to be any red showing.
Take his right hand and come up here, and on this fold, he's going to pull it out just a little bit. So about that much, he's going to pull it out. And this is, again, to make sure that we'll have more blue left over in the end. And then he's going to fold that over. Keep grabbing that on the right to make sure it's in there. And now we have what looks like what we call a mouth. On the side, it's hard to see from here. Just kind of a little bit. It's called the mouth. And so when he comes up with his left hand, he's going to tuck that in on this fold. Now these are just cheats, but they're good cheats. Folds it up.
There. No red showing.
He's got one more fold tonight. And on this one as well, sorry. On this one, he again pulls it out with his left hand just a little bit and then brings it in. And as you can see, the blue is covering everything nicely at this point. Staff Sergeant
So there's really no reason to tuck that corner. There's no reason to tuck this corner, as long as you don't break this edge, which he did. He broke the edge by doing this. And if he just would have kept it in place, and folded it over, it would have looked just fine. But he had to tuck it because of, well,
job is to do the tuck portion. The first thing he's going to do is take his right hand and he's going to swipe it like a credit card underneath the bottom layer.
there. So in my last video that I was talking about,
As he's doing that, Staff Sergeant Venditti's going to squeeze.
I don't know about swiping like a credit card, but the Army typically will come in and tuck the tip of the header in just like that, and then fold, and it's fine. It's not a problem. Air Force will typically fold so that there's a 2-finger gap, and then fold up in. I'm not going to fold it, but then there's, it's nice and smooth there.
Is the material. Now at this point, Staff Sergeant McKinney is going to make his right hand into a shark fin, and he's going to bring it underneath and put his thumb over the fabric, and then he's going to take his left hand, pick up the top, and then he's just going to tuck the material.
That's a
inside.
great technique. There's way too many people who try to do this with their tuck. They try to take the header band and then tuck that in first, and then they've got all this material sticking out here, and it just becomes a nightmare. If you tuck from here in the middle, everything is going to fall into place, and you can get the material in there nice and deep like. And well, that's good for a one-man fold.
Trying to make it as tight as possible.
And then he should round that. There he goes. Good. He's rounding that corner. Excellent. Excellent job.
The next thing I want to talk about is if you are at a service that happens to be a cremation, the flag will come to you hopefully folded, as it is right now, from the funeral director. And the options, there's 2 options during the service. You can either have the flag kind of propped up against the wooden box or the canister, whatever is there.
The urn.
After the minister is done talking, he would pick it up and unfold it, as we're going to talk about in a second. The second option would be to stand holding the flag during the service, as Staff Sergeant Venditti is doing. And you always, when you hold the flag, you always hold it left over right. It's just the rule. So left over right, fingers together. You don't want to have any of this going on when you're holding the flag. Fingers together, very military. At this point, we've finished folding the flag, and now I'm going to talk you through a little bit of just tightening up the flag and getting ready to present the flag. So at this point, Sergeant Venditti is going to make, with his hand, kind of like a shark fin. We call this the credit card swipe. He's going to go to the top of the flag and then back down to the bottom. And then he's basically going to push Sergeant McKinney's hands off, and Sergeant McKinney's going to go to the down to the position of attention. And now Sergeant Venditti's going to take the flag and turn it and bring it into his chest, put his hands left over right. And at
So
this point, you can kind of squeeze the flag if it's kind of puffy.
what he's doing, flattening out the flag, and then
And now, at this time, Sergeant McKinney is looking at each corner of the flag.
they're going to
One corner
round
has
both the
some
corners,
resting
make
lines
sure that
and
everything
a
is
little
good to go.
tightening. He's going to make eye contact with Sergeant Venditti and kind of look at the corner that needs fixing.
So we'll skip that.
He just walks.
Nope. Hold on.
there. Now, Sergeant Venditti will salute.
They're finished.
So once this is finished, Sergeant Venditti is then going to take the flag and lower it. Sergeant McKinney's going to take it back.
Now notice the grip that the recipient has. It's a fist. Left on top, fist on the bottom. And there's a reason for that.
And now Sergeant Venditti will salute the flag,
Because he gave it away.
perform an about face, and he departs.
See you later.
Out of the area. At this point, Sergeant McKinney is going to be the flag around.
There. That's
There's
why.
different ways you can do that.
It's
Sergeant McKinney has chosen to use, basically you make this kind of form with your hand, and he puts it under the flag.
There you go.
And then he just turns it around.
Really
You
easy
definitely takes
technique.
practice. because you can be a little wobbly at first. So just practice. You want to present it exactly, but you can just kind of bend over to the family member.
That's not the best. Bending over isn't exactly the best option. Kneeling to a sitting family member is best. If the family member, if the recipient, whoever the recipient is, if the recipient is standing, please don't kneel. Please don't kneel. It looks like you're begging. You're Oliver Twist begging for more food.
Or if they're standing up, obviously you just do it this way.
There you go.
Or you can kind of get down close to on one knee. Some people will get down all the way on one knee and present it to the family member if they're really low, if they're in a wheelchair. And then at this point, does an about face and departs. And this concludes the mission. And now you just, there's no really proper exact way that you have to do this. Just do it in a nice, slow, concise manner.
So this is exactly how I teach unfolding. 2 folds per hand. I just flip back and forth. You don't have to do that, but it works. It works well. So the unfolder is the one who's going to move away from the fold. Both handlers do not move away from each other, and the header end doesn't move. Just the fly end.
Now, once you get to this point, you're going to have to do, you're going to have to open the flag all the way up, which we call it popping the flag open. Now, to do this, you have to obviously sync it and do it together. So each person on each end is going to bring their hands together, and you're going to grab on to each end.
So they're letting it. See, you really need, in order for this to look the best, everything we do is communication. Absolutely everything we do is communication. This is communicating that they're not paying attention to what they're supposed to be doing. So they've got all kinds of other techniques here taken care of really well, doing a nice job. This isn't right here. You've got to pull the flag and bringing. I teach to bring the flag up like this. Let your bottom hand go. Bring your bottom hand up. Take care of the flag. Hold it in a certain manner that I teach.
The flag, the ends, that would be this end and this end when you're holding it apart. So make sure you have those ends in your hands. The senior-most person will give a wrist flick, and I'm going to get out of the way, and they will pop it open.
Now they should pop to horizontal, which they did.
And that's basically it. You pop open the flag, you hold it,
and then you
go right into the folding the flag.
Good. So they pop to horizontal.
And I'm going to get out of the way, and they will pop it open.
That was great. Don't pop to a tilt unless you don't have lateral spacing. Don't pop to horizontal. Then ceremonialist tilt. Whatever word you want to create for that, don't tilt. All right? You don't come to horizontal, tilt to display the flag. That doesn't exist. That's just made up. And then come back to horizontal. Don't do that. Horizontal, start the fold. Or pop to a tilt and then come to the folding. Again, I'm always at the fly end. I'm going to do the triangle folds for my my trainees. All right, so that's critique number 3, I think it is, for flag folds. This Army Band, like 8 or so years ago, you did a good job. Very nicely done. Couple of things here and there, but really, in general, not bad at all. Thank you.